Hello, my name is Randy Dobson. I'm an instructor here in the Houston, Texas area, and this video will be covering the Objectsnap tool, or OSnaps as you'll hear me say in Autocad. This is one tool that you will be using forever in Autocad. Let me tell you that up front. Um, this is one of the most powerful things that AutoCAD has. If you don't use an exact coordinate or a dimension or an angle to create something, you're going to use your object snaps. And if they aren't on down here, this little square, just come up here to your customization and make sure that object snap 2D object snaps. Okay, if you right click on it and it's blue, it's on. I'm going to put up the settings. These are all the things that you can snap to an object. Okay, and this is where some of the little bit of math you need to know. When I say math, geometry of things, some of them are pretty self-explanatory. End, midpoint, center, geometric center. We won't be messing with node, quadrant, intersection, insertion, perpendicular, tangent. Nearest is kind of a useless one. I don't go over that, but I'll show it to you. Apparent, intersect, and parallel is the most complicated one. So let's start. Let me see here. Okay, sorry about that. I actually had to stop my video because I wanted to get something set up as I continued. So with the object snaps, you have all of these, and it would be good to take a picture of this or print them out or something so you see the different ones. I'm going to go over each one. Now, when you're working in AutoCAD, you can have what's called running OSnaps to where they're on all the time. So if I go to line, as you can see, I didn't have to type in CEN or select, it's already going to it. I want to recommend that you don't do that. I know some people are going to still do it, and that's fine. It's better to have it off for now because I want you to learn which of these. So I'm going to use this from another screen I've got going. Whenever you need these, you can just type in the first three letters, END, MID, PR, TAN, or there's other ways to do it. If I want to go line and I want to go from the center of this circle, I can either type in CEN, enter, and see it took me to the center of that circle, okay, or I could go line and right, I'm sorry, let me start this line again. From the center of here, and I could right click and go to snap overrides, and let's say I want to go to the end point of this line. We'll see it snap to that end point. I can right click, go to snap overrides, and pick another point that I want to snap to. Let's say midpoint of this line. Okay, so those snaps have snapped it exactly to those points. Okay, you cannot eyeball it. Okay, no matter what you think, you cannot eyeball it. So with the object snaps, just like with these, you can snap to for a line, you can snap to the end points or the mid. Okay, there is a center, but understand that center is for a circle. And if you ever want to know where those snap points are, just select it. And actually, I've got two lines here. Let me take that. So you've got a midpoint and you've got the end points. Okay, if you select a circle, you've got the center, and then you've got these four areas, which are your quadrants. Quad meaning four in Spanish, cuatro for four. Yes, I know my Spanish is not any good. And then you've got, like I said, the center. You have what's called a geometric center, and that's something like over here on this polygon. There is a center in here, but because this is not a radius or a circular shape like this, when you go to, let me go line, and I want to go to the geometric center. I'm going to hover over that and see it's picked it for me, and now I can just go there, and that's to the center of that object. Okay, Like I said, you've got some easy ones. I could say that I'm going to draw a circle at the end point of this line. So it's saying circle, specify center point. I'm just going to type in E and D and draw my circle. So the center of this circle is the same as the end of this line. Okay. And again, I'm using my mouse with my right hand and typing with my left. But if you would rather, draw a line here and then right click for the snap overrides, you can go with them here. Some of the more difficult ones to understand, let's go with another easy one. Say I wanted to draw a circle that was at the intersecting of these two lines. I could go circle and I would type in INT, enter, and see how it selected it. Now the center of that circle is at the intersection of those two lines. That's another one. Just like I did here a second ago, line, and if I go QUA, enter, I'm sorry, let me try that again, line, QUA, enter, see it'll go to that quadrant, or that one, or that one. See, there's no end point, so it won't go there. See, it's only looking for the one that I typed in. That's why if you have it over here running, it may snap to something that you don't want. Once you become a little bit more comfortable with those snaps, if you want to turn these on, that's fine, but I would rather you didn't. See here, I can pick one of these quadrants. Let's just say I pick here, and then I want to go to the end of this line. I can just right click, snap overrides. If you don't want to type it, find endpoint, and there I can right click, snap overrides, endpoint, snap, right click, snap, quadrant, somewhere in here. And I could go to the quadrant of that. Now that one looks kind of weird. Let's go back to the one at the bottom. Yeah, that's better. So I'm using these O snaps, these different things here. Endpoint, midpoint, I've done center, geometric center, quadrant, intersect. So I've already done that half. Okay, now we've got like insertion point. That's for your text. Okay, if I wanted my insertion point, if I went to move, and I pick this text, and then I type in INS for the first part of insertion, and then I come over here. Oops, messed that up. Let me try that again. I went move, hit enter. Whenever it asks you for a base point, this is where you can add your object snap. I'm going to go INS, enter, there. Then I'm going to type in END, there. So that text is that insertion point, and the end of those lines is exactly in that spot. Okay. Some of the other simpler ones, if I go line, and I want to draw a line from here, and I want it to be perpendicular to there, I just type in PER, and see it's showing me where, and I don't have to go to there. I can click right here. It will snap to that. Now in later or newer versions of Autocad, it actually has the reverse, to where you can go line and type in PER, enter, and it will bring the line off of their perpendicular for you. Okay, neat little trick. To give credit, they did get this from MicroStation, which is another software. MicroStation had it first, but anyway, this is a nice little tool. Another one is, say I want to draw a circle, and it's saying specify the center point. If I go APP, which is apparent intersect, I'm going to click this line. Now watch, when I hover over this line, you're going to see an X come up, because that's where they would apparently intersect. I click there, and I didn't have to connect these lines to put that circle there. It gives you this apparent intersect. Okay, here's the perpendicular. I'm saving the hardest ones for the last, which are tangent and parallel. The parallel one is probably one of the harder ones to get used to because everybody wants to select. Uh, if I want to draw a line parallel to this line, I go line and say I'm over here and I want it to be parallel to this one. I type in PAR, enter. Now I want you to pay very close attention to this. I hover over this, and when it shows, see when it shows the two little green lines, I do not select anything. Okay, what I've done is I've let AutoCAD know this is the one I want to be parallel to, still not clicking anything. Watch when I come back, it's going to give me a guide. See that guide? Then I can use that to click, to select, and that drew that parallel. Okay, the first thing everybody wants to do is they're going to go PAR, and they come over here and they click. Well, then nothing happens. Okay, and they're like, it doesn't work, Mr. Dobson. Okay, so you start a line, you type PAR, enter, you hover over this. I am not selecting anything. Once you see the two little green lines, you just come back. Okay, if I came over to here, see those two green lines? Now watch, it's going to go parallel to that one for me, see? So it took it, if I come over here and I type in PAR and I select that, then I can come over here, look, and it did it parallel for me. Okay, that one's a little tough to get used to because everybody wants to select it when they see the green because that's typically what you do, not in parallel. Okay, the last one is dealing with tangent. And if you've watched my other videos talking with coordinates and things like that, I talk about tangent or circle. You've got these options here. Remembering that tangent is where a line where it touches the circle is perpendicular to the center. So I'm going to go line, I'm going to go here and I'm going to type PER, and there'll be, let me try that again, line, PER, not PER, I'm sitting here, sorry, TAN. Yes, I do make mistakes. Tangent. I want it to be tangent because I could figure out why I was going straight to it. And there's two tangents. There's one on this side and there's one on this side. Okay, why? Because if I click here and then I go center, well, look what I've made. I've made a 90-degree angle. Okay. Now if I go from the same spot again, if I go line and I go from the end of this one where I started and I type in TAN, there's the other one, and then I type in CEN for the center, there it is, and of course that is 90 degrees. Okay, this would not be a line, it would be tangent. Or even this one, again, you can't eyeball it because if I say, oh, that looks tangent there, and I go to the center and I look at an angle, that's what you'll see. Okay, so this will draw a line that's tangent. Now, the one thing to remember is for it to be tangent, this is getting back to that geometrics a little bit, it needs to have the two endpoints. When I started up here, it had this point. So it knew the tangent was only going to hit in these two spots. But if I want to draw a line, this tangent to both of these circles, watch what happens. I'm going to line, and it's saying, where on my first point, I'm going to type, I want it to be tangent to this circle. Well, see, look at it. Look, as I move around, it's like, okay, I'm not going to tell you where I'm tangent until you click on another spot. So I'm going to type TAN, and when I come over to this circle, boom, there it's tangent. Because see, if I go to the center, that's 90 degrees. And of course, if I go line from the end of this one to the center, that is 90 degrees. Okay, so these, again, these you will be using forever. Okay, you need to be using them to help you with drawings that aren't going to have exact dimensions, or you need to snap to a midpoint. Remember, this doesn't have anything to do with this old what is it over here, the grid snap settings. Okay, that's a totally different thing than the one that I had here. Okay, but end point, midpoint, remember that mid is for lines, center is for circles or arcs, geometric center is like for a rectangle or a polygon, quadrant is for a circle, the four quadrants, intersection where two lines intersect, insertion is for text, uh, perpendicular is two lines that meet and make a 90-degree angle, tangent is a line that's tangent to a circle or arc, and at that point it's 90 degrees to the center. Nearest, it can just be anywhere. It's more of just a utility thing, but most people don't use it. Apparent intersect is you can snap to an apparent intersect of two lines. They don't have to intersect, but you can pick the two lines and say, I want to start where these two lines would intersect if they did. And then, of course, parallel, the one that you highlight, the one that you want to be parallel to, then you come back and use the guideline to draw your line. Again, these are very, very important tools. Get used to them, know them, don't skip over them fast, because like I said, you will be using them forever. I've been using them for over 25, 26 years, and I pretty much use them on almost any command I use for the most part. I would say 80% of my commands I use the O snaps, the object snaps. And that concludes my video on O snap. Thank you.